So you're looking for a rear bumper. Well, guess what?
In our rear
is a bumper. So you're all into overlanding. You got your truck, you got your tent, maybe you got a rooftop tent. Maybe you got some big tires, you got some body armor, maybe you got a front bumper. We got a rear bumper. So back behind me is my Land Cruiser 80 Series 1996. I am fully armored up. Of course, the rear bumper is what we're going to talk about today. I am Phil Carrion.
I'm Eddie Villar. So Phil, first of all, we're going to talk about your rear bumper, but let's talk about what is a bumper.
A bumper comes with most cars. If you have a car, it probably has a rear bumper. Maybe not like that. If you got a regular car and somebody hits you like at 10 miles an hour, that bumper will probably save the stuff that's in your trunk.
The bumper that you have here that on the Land Cruiser, obviously you're going to be going on the trails and you're not going to be worried about someone actually hitting you from behind. It is set up differently for off-roading. You want to show us some of the features that's on the bumper?
I do.
Awesome.
It's a good thing my car's right there. This bumper right here is fabricated by 4x4 Labs in Northern California. This is the bumper that Caesar Cruiser Tech suggested that I put on my truck, and so far it's worked great for me. I've had it for a little over a year, and it's worked well. There is footage of the Land Cruiser actually making contact with rocks as I went over a rock.
As the rear tires were coming down, this came and hit the rock?
Yes, and it performed as expected. This bumper really is body armor, but if you do look underneath here, the bumper actually wrapped under about a foot beyond what you can see, but it does protect underneath.
It looks like there's a lot more clearance on this bumper than it has on the stock bumper that you have.
For sure, for sure. Actually, a few inches, but the stock bumper wouldn't have survived any kind of driving that we're doing. Recovery points get welded onto this bumper too, so what I need to put on here is some shackles. Usually when I'm out, there are people who already have the shackles, but the D-shackles go right into there. That's an official recovery point. You can pull my truck out of a ditch, or I can pull you out if need be.
Cool.
You can check out the quarter panels up here. And again, you can have as much protection as you want. There are some quarter panel protection bars that do go up like this. That would have been nice, but I don't think I needed it. This is good enough, and there's actually some quarter panels that have even a step right here so that you can access whatever's on your roof. This looks good. It's nice and tight and compact. The bumper is the basic protection for the rear end of your car. That is this right here. When I had mine put on, I did want the swing outs, because eventually if you're going to go overlanding, you want some of the things that you're carrying not necessarily have to be inside the car. For instance, a spare tire or gas cans. You don't want to be carrying that inside your car. You want to put them outside. The other thing that you can put on here is the ladder. And I was thinking about getting the ladder since we do now have the rooftop tent, but I do like the look of the jerry cans. And this is actually Cruiser Tech's logo. This basket is made to fit 3 standard jerry cans, 3 standard size 5-gallon jerry cans. You can see that I have 2 gas cans and 1 water can. But the way it works, it's kind of low tech, where you just put them in here and then you just put a tow strap right here, or a luggage strap, or whatever you call these things. You can go farther without having to worry about gas, as long as there's gas in here, and you could probably even potentially rescue somebody who has run out of gas. Actually, the spare tire on the Land Cruiser 80s, and I think it's for most of them, they're usually underneath the car in the back. And I didn't want it there anymore. In fact, before I lifted it, that's where the spare tire was. and we would go into a rut, and you would feel the actual tire bottom out when you'd go through ruts. So there was no way that was going to stay there, especially when the tires got bigger. So now these are 35s. This is a full-size spare. You can see it's pretty big. And I bought this as a used tire. But this is where you'd put it. The only other place you would put it, if it's not going to be underneath, is going to be on the top. So you got to put it under here. And once you're out, if you're actually overlanding, you're out there overlanding, you've got a drawer system, or if you've packed your back or your rear with camping stuff, you're going to ride. This just takes so much room. So the spare tire makes a lot of sense. One thing as a consequence when you do have a spare tire in the back is when you look in your rear view mirror or when you're backing up, it does impair a little bit of your vision when you're looking back. So the proper place for it, because you do have a choice of whether if you want your spare tire back here or if you want it back here, is to put it over here so that when you look over your shoulder, it's not blocking you necessarily. So the spare tire actually goes on the same side as the driver. And this is the right height as well too for these jerry cans. It doesn't go too high to block your vision. Of course, I'm getting a nice little sticker collection, and that's starting to impair my vision. Here they are.
Hey Phil, so looking at these latches here, can you show us how hard it is to pull it apart?
So this is how it's open. There's actually a pre-latch release right there.
Oh, cool.
And then you pull it. Now that has minimum difficulty, but you can make it harder or easier based on how you manipulate these screws here. And you don't want it too loose, because it was a little bit hard at the beginning, so I loosened it, and then it was too loose and it rattled, so I tightened it back down. So it does take a little bit of a grip and a pull to get it open. But again, you know, it has this first latch, and then you pull it open. And the right amount, I know I have it at the right tension when I close it. I go like that, and I just go ahead and kick it shut.
Can you do that one more time? That was pretty cool.
So that opened up pretty quickly. And by the way, these do have gas struts in here. They actually are pretty powerful.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I have to actually make sure they don't swing wide open. It did happen on this one. I was actually parked at an angle, and this thing just took off. Yeah, there's different configurations here. I don't know if this is just a pin and there's grease in there. I don't know if there's actually a bearing in there, but it works for me.